Morning to Dr. Prakash. Today, me and my group member will be presenting about macro and micro level challenges within the automotive supply chain. The subject is BN6303. Now, let me introduce to my group members myself, Prathik Bala Subramaniam, Pravinjit Kalitas, Himeleshwaran Muniandy, and Trinayan Ramish. Next slide. This is our table of content. In our table of content, there is introduction, theory of supply chain resilience, macro issue one, semiconductor chip shortages, macro issue two, geopolitical factors, and continue with micro issue one, single supply dependency, micro issue two, quality issues, conclusion, references, and finally Q&A. Next slide. This slide introduces the global automotive supply chain. In the figure 1 shows that Asia is the largest vehicle producer, contributing 61.1% of global production, followed by Europe 17.8% and North America 15.6%. The remaining production comes from South America 3.3%, Africa 1.4% and Oceania 0.1%. This means the industry depends heavily on Asia, so any disruption that can affect the global supply chain. The table 1 shows four major supply chain challenges. Semiconductor chip shortages and geopolitical issues are macro challenges because they affect the whole industry. Quality issues and single supply dependency are micro challenges because they affect individual companies. These challenges can cause production delays, higher costs, and supply disruption. Therefore, effective supply chain management is important to reduce these risks. Next slide. Okay, this slide shows the supply chain resilience, which helps automotive companies to prepare for and recover from disruptions. It focuses on visibility, flexibility, collaboration, and control. These are important at both levels. Macro level challenges such as global trade tensions, pandemics, and geopolitical disruption can affect the whole automotive supply chain. Micro level challenges such as single supply dependency, production delays, and poor inventory control happen within the company. Therefore, applying these resilient principles helps automotive firms reduce risk and maintain continuous production. Next slide.
Macro issue number 1, semiconductor chip shortages. In automotive industry, modern vehicles depend on semiconductor chips for engine controls, safety system, infotainment, and sensors. First, I will explain about 2018 to 2028 average number of semiconductor chip per car. On your left, figure 3 shows the average number of chips used in vehicle has increased slowly from 2018 and projected to rise until 2028. This means cars are becoming more advanced and require thousands of semiconductor chips. Next, I'm going to talk about the A001 car shortages. On your right, the graph shows how European automobile production dropped sharply around 2020 because of semiconductor shortage and energy-related issues. The recovery in 2023 was uneven because chip supply remained limited. The key point from this graph is that even when other automotive parts become available, semiconductor shortage restrict vehicle production. Moving to the next slide. Case study number 1, Nissan chip shortages. Now I'll talk about the share underperform as company struggles to compete. In figure 5, the graph show the share performance with the broader automotive industry. We can see that Nissan share price dropped sharply around late March 2020-25, the one I circled in the red color, because chip shortages. These declines reflect production delay and continuing semiconductor-related supply chain problems. Next, I'm going to talk about the net profit of Nissan's. In figure 6, the graph presents the Nissan financial performance from 2018 to 2024. It shows the large losses in 2019 and 2020. They returned the profit in 2023 and another projected net loss in 2024. The fluctuation highlighted in the graph, which is the red color symbol, shows how semiconductor shortage and supply chain stop can directly affect a company profitability and financial stability. To conclude this, the Nissan case, the semiconductor chip shortage remain a major macro issue in significantly affect the automotive industry production and overall business performance. Moving to the next slide. Case study number 2, which is Volkswagen's chip shortages. First, I'll talk about Volkswagen's sales from 2011 to the 2022. Figure 7 on the left shows Volkswagen's global vehicle sales fell majorly during the semiconductor shortage period, reaching an 11-year low by 2022. Production was stopped at the major factories, including the Wolfsburg plant, and popular models such as Golf and Tiguan were affected because of limited chips available. Next, I'm going to talk about the Volkswagen's annual report in 2022 and 21 compares the Volkswagen's financial performance in 2022 with 2021. As you guys see, the figure shows the sales revenue increased from 17.9 billion in 2021, and in 2022 the revenue was 79.5 billion. However, the higher the revenue, Volkswagen reported the global vehicle delivery declines in 2022 because of semiconductor shortages and supply chain issues limited vehicle production. To conclude this, Volkswagen case shows the semiconductor shortage can reduce vehicle sales and stop factory production and increase operating costs. That's it from me. Thank you.
Now I'll explain geopolitical tension, which means political conflict and instability between countries. A good example is the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important oil shipping routes. When conflict happens in this region, there's a risk to global oil supply. As shown in Figure 10, Brent price increased significantly, rising from $61 per barrel to 118 per barrel. Because of this, higher oil price increase fuel price and also influence consumer to move toward EV vehicles. As shown in the chart, in 2021, petrol and diesel car made up 90.5% of global new car sales, while EV accounted for only 9.5% by 2026. EV are projected to reach around 29%, while ICE vehicles fall to around 71%. So geopolitical tension can increase oil prices and contribute to the shift towards electric vehicles. Next slide. Going to slide 2, this case study looked at the Russia-Ukraine war and its impact on BMW. When the war started, Ukraine's automotive suppliers were heavily disrupted. Ukraine produced around 45% of wire harness used to European car production. These are important because they connect the electrical system inside the car. Due to the disruption, BMW faced shortages and temporarily stopped production at plants in Munich and also Leipzig. This also affects vehicle deliveries. BMW Group deliver fell from 2.52 million vehicles in 2021 to 2.4 million in 2022, which is 4.8% of decrease. This shows how a conflict in one country can disrupt car production in another country. Moving to the next slide. Now look at the Red Sea crisis and Tesla. Because of how the attacks on commercial ship forced to shipping companies to avoid the Red Sea and Suez Canal. Instead, ship had to travel around the Cape of Good Hope, heading around 2 weeks of the journey. Tesla relied on part ship from Asia to its factory in Germany. Because of this delay, Tesla temporarily stopped production at Gigafactory Berlin for 14 days from 29 January to 11 February 2024. Also, Tesla's Q1 delivery fell from 422,875 in 2023 to 386,810 in 2024, which is 8.5% of decrease. This case shows how geopolitical problems in major shipping routes can quickly disrupt automotive production in deliveries. That's all from me.
Now I'll present about micro issue 1, which is single supply dependency. This slide shows the global impact of single supply dependency in the automotive industry. Asia has the highest number of affected companies with 14, followed by Europe with 6, and Australia and Oceania with 5. North America has 4, South America has 3, and Africa has 2 affected companies. So this shows that relying on a single supplier can increase the risk of supply chain disruption across different regions. Next. So these are my sources for this slide. Next. Now, let's see the case study 1, Toyota's Cho Spring crisis. This case shows the risk of depending on a single supplier. In October 2023, an explosion at Cho Spring stopped 11 assembly lines across 7 Toyota plants, causing Toyota to lose 5% of its monthly production and affecting 7 vehicle models, including the Yaris, Corolla, and RAV4. Another explosion happened at the same supplier in March 2025, showing that the problem was not fully addressed after the first incident. So this proves that relying on one supplier leaves no backup. So when the supply fails, production stops. Even the world's largest automaker can be disrupted by one small supplier. Slide. Now let's see the case study number 2, which is Ford and Novelis Fire 2025. This case also highlights the risk of single supply dependency. In September 2025, a fire at Novelis aluminum plant reduced a Ford F-150 production by 55%. And because Novelis supplied about 40% of the US automotive aluminum, Ford faced a major shortage. The disruption cost estimated around US 1.5 to $2 billion financial impact. And although production later recovered with over 50,000 units planned for 2026, a second fire at the same plant in November 2025 showed that the risk remained. This case proves that without a backup supplier, one disruption can seriously affect production, revenue, and the company's overall performance. So that's all from me. I will pass it to my next group member. Thank you.
Good morning, Dr. Prakash. Next, our second micro issue, which is quality issues. From figure 19, Ford recorded the highest number of recalls in 2025 with 45 recalls. This shows that even major manufacturers can face significant quality control problems. In figure 20, shows the number of consumers affected by recalls in 2024. Tesla and Chrysler had the highest consumer impact, followed by Ford. These recalls may involve problems such as airbags, brakes, electric system, and software. So overall, quality issues are not limited to one company. They affect both market mass and premium automotive brands. Going to the next slide. For the first case study, I will focus on Stellantis and the Takata airbag recall. The main problem was defective Takata airbag inflator, which could explode and send a metal fragment into the passenger compartment. For Stellantis, around 225,000 vehicles in US were affected, while globally, more than 67 million Takata airbags were recalled across different manufacturers. The safety impact was serious, at least 28 deaths and 400 injuries in US linked to Takata airbag. This issue also affected the company financial. Table number 3 shows a 22.332 million net loss in for year 2025 with warranty related quality cost contribution to the problem. So this case shows the poor quality can affect both consumer safety and company. For the second case study, we have Honda. In figure 22, shown a Honda recalled approximately 256,000 Accord hybrid vehicle due to incorrect software programming. The program involves the vehicle CPU, which could suddenly reset while driving. This could temporarily cut the power the drive wheels, increase the risk of crash, especially at the high speed. Figure 23 also showed Honda revenue, production, and sales, all three their peak in 2022. However, from 2023 to 2025, revenue fell by near 50%, while production and sales dropped by more than 70%. By 2025, Honda was producing the selling less one-third of 2022 level. So compared with Stellantis, Honda shows the software defect can also become a serious quality and safety issue. Overall, the both case shows that quality problem can lead to recall, safety risk, extra cost, and weaker business performance. Going to the conclusion, finally, the automotive supply chain faces many risks from both global events and company related. Problems such as semiconductor shortage and wars can stop production, increase cost, and delay vehicle deliveries. At the company level, relying too much one supplier and having a poor quality control can also a major disruption. Therefore, automotive companies need stronger supply chain planning, supply identification, and better quality control to reduce the risk. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, references. Right. Two micro, two macro. Which macro is the biggest challenge to the automotive industry? One of you can answer me this.
I will choose single supply dependency as the micro issue because relying one supplier can cause production delay. If that supplier face shortage or disruption, for the micro issue, I will choose the semiconductor chip shortage because it affected the entire global automotive industry, causing production delay, high cost, and longer delivery times.
Okay, I stop here.